Back on the old Zooms, Connor. Back on the old Zooms
Yeah.
today.
Woo.
Woo!
Zoom.
Zoom.
I love
Yeah,
it.
baby.
No
Um,
clocks. Back to the Zoom.
yeah, back to the old
Back
reviewing
to it.
old episodes of Who, man. It was a bit jarring to go from
It
Flux to
was.
this.
It really was. It was like, oh, back to this. Interesting. Okay.
Absolutely.
It was
Um,
it was kind of odd, but it was nice to be back, but it was also quite odd.
Honestly, I was watching. So we're doing Bells of St. John today. That's the episode we're talking about.
Woo.
And when I was rewatching it, I was just thinking to myself, like, man, even though this isn't one of the best episodes of the Moffat era, it is so much better than what we were getting out of Flux. I think
Yeah.
immediately off the bat was just like this episode has so much breathing room, which I think most of a lot of RTD and Moffat scripts all have like good breathing room for like good character moments and stuff like that. And then you have
Yeah.
things like Flux where it's just like all action, all adventure,
But
um, and maybe not that much character.
yeah. I don't know about you, but I felt like this was a very RTD Moffat episode. Like it kind of felt like classic Doctor Who
Mm,
RTD. And that's most probably just to do with like London and then running around and stuff. But I think like the start as well, like all the internet and stuff, and like it's like cutting to all different places around the world. That's like a very like Moffat, sorry, Russell thing to do. So
yeah. Did you
that's
like this episode at the time?
um I kind of did. I have very good memories of it. I have memories of kind of getting closer with you at school. Not like we weren't incredibly close, but I remember like we would like meet up every maybe twice, three times at school, and we would just chat about Doctor Who, and we were like getting really excited because this aired at Easter, I
Mm,
remember. And I remember you and me were like going, oh, looking forward to it. We were just talking about it quite a lot. And I remember going to the city that day on like I think it was Easter Monday because I think that's when we got it. And just being really excited to watch it. But I thought it was fine. I didn't dislike it. I didn't hate it. I
mm,
remember watching it with my family, which was very rare. I mean, I know like we've spoken in the past, even with, like the audience, like, even like Vinny said like how End Time Part Two was the last time she watched it with her family. Like I feel like when I would watch an episode of Doctor Who, especially in like Steven's era, it was always a big deal because it was like, oh, we're kind of just all watching it together. So I've got good memories in that aspect, but and yeah, I think I like it in that sense. I've never been like a huge fan. I know you've always really liked it. Did you? Because I remember going up to you at school on the Tuesday, the day after, and saying, "Did you like it?" And you were like, "I didn't really like it." So
no, I don't know when this switched in my head, but I really used to not like this
yeah,
episode. And then I think for me, we'll get into it in more detail shortly, but for me, I think what I
mm,
like about it is that it knows exactly what it wants to be. Like it's not going
yeah,
out there to be this standout episode. It's just going
yeah,
on to be like sort of a fun, silly adventure to sort of kick off this second part of the series. And I just love that it doesn't take itself too seriously. That's what I think. Um, Sometimes parts of Who, maybe in Chibnall's era, a bit sometimes maybe do take itself a little bit too seriously.
mm,
Not Flux. I think Flux was like they were like, "Now, nah, fuck it, we're just going balls to the wall,
we're just doing it.
craziness,"
Yeah,
But I think certain parts of Who do take itself a little bit too seriously, and this is one of those episodes where it's like, haha,
no, I agree.
actually not.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, totally. And I think it does know what it is, and I think it helps as well. I know obviously Jenna's playing a different version of Clara, but you had already seen Clara twice before.
Mm,
You are sort of used to the Doctor and Clara's relationship. Like again, it's different characters per se, but it's still the same actress. So
yeah,
I think that was fun and it was interesting, and she pretty much plays like kind of the same person, just a little bit different, which is the point. But
yeah, a little bit.
um,
They were both pretty flirty. I don't know. This one's probably
oh
not as good
god,
as the
what the
Victorian
fuck?
Clara,
There's
but
so
but
much.
yeah.
There's so much flirting and like innuendos and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, like
Uh-huh. It's
I remember
bizarre, man.
cringing in my boots watching this with my parents. And there's a few things in the episode where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm cringing right now. But you're right. If it was taking itself seriously, it would have sucked so much more. I feel like, but it
Mm.
it really it really wasn't. I think it really the best part of this episode, it really capitalized that. This was 2013, wasn't it?
Yeah,
14,
yeah,
13?
yeah.
Yeah, it really capitalizes that like Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook age where everyone was first getting connected and Wi-Fi was a thing that you would constantly be connecting to as a kid, like with your like iPod Nano and stuff, or iPods and all that. So like, I feel like that it really capitalized that era pretty well, I think. And
Totally.
it's kind of cringy, but I think it's fun. And you're right, it does know its place. That's the thing,
For me, like another immediate thing that I loved watching this episode was the sheer amount of location work. It's
God, yeah.
It's so
awesome.
good. And for me, that kind of can make or break an episode for me. If an episode's kind of a bit and it's very studio bound, I'm probably not going to like it. But if an episode's a bit and we're getting awesome location work, filming on bloody Westminster Bridge and embankment and stuff like that, that stuff's awesome.
It was, yeah. You really notice that stuff. It shows they put an effort, which I think is great.
Yeah. Even just like outside of her house, that stuff was like, that scene could so easily have been like on a set in the living room or something. Just having that be at the front of her house, I thought was real cool, real nice.
True. It's just like, I think it's also hard for them to do that kind of stuff. Because I remember when they were filming those scenes, like there was heaps of like set leaks and stuff, which I think prevents people from wanting to do that kind of stuff. But you're right, it does look so much better. You can really tell. Yeah, you really do feel like London is like a character in this episode, which I really like, because you don't get to see like you're right with the whole. I remember how you said to me like, AJ, like I really like this episode because like it's like a really London-based episode, and like we used to get that quite a lot, but not so much anymore, and particularly not really anymore at all. Like it was supposed to feel like Sheffield was this place where like we would keep going back to and feel connected to, but I didn't feel connected to that. And Liverpool, I guess they were trying to make us feel connected to, but it was cool to see like Liverpool and like Sheffield and stuff. But like, yeah, seeing London in like episodes like this and Russell's era, just like it really does feel like home, So
I think this is the first episode since like the RTD era that felt very British, very, very London in that kind of way, Which it's cool and refreshing. Shall we go into the episode, baby? Shall we have a deep dive? If I can get to my sounds, if my computer wants to work. Now we have an awkward moment. Let's hit the theme song, y'all. Woo. Oh yeah.
50% podcast.
That's right. We're back. We're back once again. We got 3 more episodes left of the year.
Wow, that is crazy.
It is crazy.
This is how I'm keeping track at the end of the year, because I feel like everything's a blur right now. I'm tracking the days between. I know it's 2 weeks to Christmas because we got 2 episodes left till Christmas. So that's literally how I don't even know what fucking it's the 12th. I didn't even know that. I'm just keeping track with the Doctor Who episodes, and that keeps my life in order.
Yeah. So we'll have obviously this episode dropping Monday, which will be Monday tomorrow. We're filming this on Sunday, so pretty last minute for once. But this will be dropping on December 13th, and then Monday, December 20th will be Rings of Ahkaten, and then our Christmas special will be Cold War, and that will be dropping on 24th. I think we did Christmas Eve last year, so I think we'll
Christmas Eve, a little special for you,
And then it'll be a slightly longer because we usually, we always upload weekly, and then because of the New Year special, we have a slightly longer break because we'll go from Christmas Eve to like 1st or 2nd of January. It'll be 2nd of Jan in Australia.
You probably won't even notice we're gone, to be honest. Like it's a little bit over a week.
Yeah, it'll be like 8 or 9 days between episodes. And then we'll be reviewing the brand new episode Eve of the Daleks. Ooh.
Yeah, really excited for that. 2 things. Number 1, I will do my darndest to. It'll definitely be in person for the Christmas special, but I'll do my darndest to be in person for Rings of Ahkaten because it is just better. Second of all, I went to the city last night. I stayed in the city just like Aidan.
Yeah, we're both
like
in the
separate
city.
places. But I on my way to the city, I told my girlfriend I'm gonna record tomorrow at like 1 or 12 or something. And I was like, fuck, I haven't watched the episode yet. I totally forgot. I literally spaced it. I came back the other night, I was like, going to watch it, and I chucked on Twin Peaks and totally forgot. So I woke up this morning in the hotel in Perth City. I had like one AirPod in whilst getting ready and like looking at it. And then I watched like 15 minutes of it, had to get in the car and come home. I was really hungry, so I stopped and got food on the way. I'm waiting for my food to get ready, and I'm watching it in this fucking Thai takeaway place. And then I come home and I'm setting all this gear up, and I finally finished it. So I fucking watched it in 3 gaps today because I totally forgot.
Yeah.
But
and if we're doing Rings tomorrow, you've got to squeeze in Rings, like I guess today at some point.
Yeah. So when we're doing Rings?
When are we talking about maybe doing it tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I will try and fit in.
Because we'll try to do it earlier than usual. Anyways, we'll talk about that after we recorded.
Oh.
The Bells of St. John is the 6th episode of the 7th series of the British science fiction television program Doctor Who. It premiered in the United Kingdom on the 30th of March 2013 on BBC One. The episode was the first of the second half of the series. It was written by Stephen Moffat and directed by Colm McCarthy. The episode marks the 3rd appearance of Jenna Louise Coleman as Clara Oswald, but her first official appearance as the 11th Doctor's new companion. The story focuses on alien time traveler, the Doctor, Matt Smith, searching for Oswald, following 2 previous encounters with her in different moments of time, dying in both encounters. That's a bit grim. Finding a 3rd version in present-day London, he soon becomes involved in saving her and the rest of Earth from Miss Kislet, Celia Imrai. I don't know. I feel like she's a famous English actress. I don't know. I recognize her.
Yes.
And her employer, the Great Intelligence, as they use the world's Wi-Fi to upload people to a data cloud via robots known as servers, casually referred to as spoonheads. Man, the last sentence of these things always go wild, these descriptions. They're so bad. It's just Doctor Who versus the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah, we have a brand new Doctor Who director this week in Colm McCarthy, who directs a lot of Peaky Blinders. In fact, it looks like directed all of Series 2 of Peaky Blinders. Episodes 2 to 6 of Series 2. And I think Peaky Blinders is a 6-episode TV show, right?
I don't know. My dad watches it, but I've never watched it. I tried again, but I think I just couldn't.
Yeah, I never really did. A couple of other things of note that he directed. If anyone watched Krypton, that 2018 TV show on Sci-Fi, I don't think it was that great, but it was like a Superman Origins or something. He directed the pilot of that for Black Mirror. He directed Black Museum, the 2017 episode.
That's a great episode.
Yeah. It's like one of the highlights of Series 4 from memory, written by Charlie Brooker. Awesome. He also, this is the only Doctor Who episode he directed, but he has worked with Moffat. He directed The Sign of 3, the 2014 episode of Sherlock. That's the wedding episode, which is great. And to be honest, very similar tone to this episode, actually. So that's so cool. True. You can kind of tell it's him. That's kind of neat.
Yeah. I really love the direction. I think especially that shot where like the plane's coming down and like he grabs Clara into the Tardis and it like swipes across the TARDIS and then goes into the interior, and then it's like one shot and then like it goes through and then like they're on the plane. Like I think that whole scene was directed so well.
You can tell it's if you really look, you can see the cuts actually relatively obvious in both places. But
I did notice the cuts. Yeah,
but it's still like just a neat thing of direction. And I like it when Doctor Who does stuff like that. Lazy, and there's just like, like we were saying, a little location work could easily have been done on a green screen of the bike ride and stuff, but they actually have Matt and Jenna on a bike riding through Westminster Abbey, which is just bloody awesome. And like, I really rate that. I think just the overall tone, the colors of it, I really like this whole sort of blue vibe of the episode. It's got a real nice look to it, I think, and a real good energy. Yeah, it's neat.
Totally. You're right. And like we just said, like you just said, and about the location work, like I think you could definitely tell the direction here wasn't lazy. That whole, like we said, we could see the cuts, but it kept the episode so. That scene was so refreshing in the episode. I felt like I was like, I don't know how I'm feeling about this, but that scene, even though I think the whole plane scene's silly, but it's still really fun. And you're right, it knows its place. So like, it's not like it's fucking trying to take itself seriously. It's dumb, but I think I've never seen that scene when I remember this episode for some weird reason before it aired released like 7 clips. Like they released like full on like 7 like 1-minute clips normally, and they released like that plane scene and like they did a couple of others. And I remember thinking that's just so cool. Like this is some top tier Doctor Who stuff that they're doing, and it's really cool. It's like I don't know why a plane goes down because of Wi-Fi, but I ain't gonna question it. It's just
Well, because
funny.
planes have Wi-Fi, but I don't think the planes are controlled by Wi-Fi though.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know why it would go down though. Yeah, that's just
um,
odd, but yeah.
lots of cool new things. Obviously, we have the newish Tardis. In this was in the Snowman. This time
Yeah.
it has a new floor. It's got the holes in the floor, which is nice.
Okay.
Which looks really cool. We also have Matt's new outfit. Looks
Yes.
amazing. We see him change
New
into it.
photo.
That sequence is dope.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really great. Another
What's
like
the sorry, was the titles in Snowman? It was so long
yes,
ago.
it was. I think the look of the Doctor Who logo has changed slightly.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I think the music is slightly different.
I feel like for anyone who doesn't know, we watched Flux for the last 6 weeks and we didn't review any old episodes. So it's been a month and a half since nearly 2 months since we watched a Matt era episode. So I've forgotten if like
yeah,
I know it changed either in Snowman or Girls of St. John. So
it's
it
bizarre
was Snowman.
because we did like for the past year and a half we've reviewed an episode weekly of Doctor Who, working our way from Rose onwards. And then it was weird to like step away from that for 6 weeks as we did Flux, the new episodes coming out. So it's the first time we've had like a break from watching the episodes, which is it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's
Before
totally weird.
that, we only had one new episode, which was Resolution.
Revolution.
Fuck me, I
Every
always
time.
get that shit wrong.
Every fucking time.
Yeah.
There's another like
That's
interesting
it, so,
thing.
yeah.
It's a bit of direction, a bit of writing. That I think it was a cool comparison, but I hate its implications. In terms of there's a lot of like Romeo and Juliet in this episode. So like the scene where Clara is sitting out her window talking to the Doctor who's down, like guarding her and stuff. That's very much, Juliet on her balcony talking down to Romeo.
Damsel in distress.
Yeah. It's that's like one of the main sort of, I guess, iconic parts of Romeo is her talking off the balcony down to him. And also I read this just online then. I didn't pick up on it watching the episode. I don't really recall Romeo and Juliet that much. I can see that scene that I mentioned, but this apparently the scene where she's asleep and the Doctor's like doing stuff for her is also reminiscent of something in Romeo and Juliet. But I don't know that, which I think is interesting and cool. They kind of went like subtly ham with it. Like it's like quite obvious when you see it, but it's not that obvious unless it's pointed out to you. But I hate that it's then like, oh, the Doctor and Clara are star-crossed lovers,
Yeah. There's even the book as well.
Yeah.
That Artie is reading is like a fairy tale almost. So, well, speaking of Artie, we get our first. Is it Angie? Artie and Angie? Is it Angie?
Yes, I believe that's it. Yeah.
We get the fan favorite characters getting introduced in this episode. Artie and Angie, who show up. Is it they only show up again in Nightmare and Silver, isn't it?
I think that at the end of the Crimson Horror, I think they have a scene at the end of the Crimson Horror when they find out that she's traveling with the Doctor or something, and then in Nightmare in Silver, that's when she takes them with him. And I'm not sure. I feel like maybe one of them's in Name of the Doctor or something. I don't know.
I think they get mentioned, but we don't get to see the fan favorite characters.
We'll get to that in Nightmare in Silver. A big elephant in the room. We're meant to have Vinny on today, but because me and Conor had no time to record this episode this week, we're doing it at a really random time, which is in the middle of the night UK time. It's like 2 a.m. in the UK right now, I think, 3 a.m. So Vinny said we're going to try to get Vinny on in the back half of Series 7. So in the last 4 episodes, probably, which will be next year. So hopefully we'll manage to get a Vinny episode going because they're always lovely, always nice. Awesome, man. You want to take it from relatively the top, I guess?
Yeah. So we throw out a little intro, kind of like very RTD. Yeah. Oh, I like the this I don't get. Clara's like a young girl and she's struggling with the internet, like the Wi-Fi and stuff. And I feel like people who are like she's like older than us, and like we know how to do it. And I just feel like I don't know. I didn't believe someone at her age wouldn't understand to press the Wi-Fi button.
Dude, the fact that she's like, like later on when she's on the phone to the doctor, right? And she's like doing the RICBAR123 thing on the keyboard. And she's literally, it's like got these really big close-ups of her finger pressing the buttons. And she's like, 1, 2, 3. And she presses 4. And it's like, so like, holy fuck. No, that's never happened to anyone in the history. Like, if you're typing fast, that kind of thing happens. But if you're literally looking, like she's like staring, like if you're looking at me right now, this is what she's doing. 1, 2, 4. Like, it's so bad.
I don't believe it. I don't believe that someone at her age wouldn't know how to turn on the Wi-Fi. I think that's BS. We get our first little Missy kind of mentioned, because Missy's the one that gives Clara the number.
Was that Missy that did that?
Yeah, it gets. This is another one of those things where I feel like this was not planned, but it's revealed literally fucking ages later in like Peter's era.
Damn, because like
she's the one who gives Clara the number in the shop. She's the lady in the shop.
I thought it was River in like the finale.
No.
Interesting.
I always thought it would be River, but it's not. It's Missy. Yeah.
Wow. Because that's really interesting. I wonder if Moffat was wrote it as like a throwaway line, in Force Awakens, where it's like, where'd you get the lightsaber? And it's like, that's a story for another time. I wonder if it was like a throwaway line, and then Moffat was reading through like Reddit forums, and everyone was like, who was the woman in the shop? Who could it be? And he was like, I probably should address that, shouldn't I? Scratching his head a little bit, downs a few more glasses of red, and writes it into Dark Water or wherever it is.
I think it is in Dark Water.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a thing that I picked up on, because I'm like, I always remember it being not answered for ages, and it's not that big of a thing. But it kind of is. It's like that's how they get if they're with each other, that's how they start traveling, that's how they meet. So yeah, it's all to do with Missy's big plan. But what do you mean the Doctor becoming a monk?
Oh, isn't it Magician's Apprentice? Because isn't it when she's like sat down having a coffee with Missy?
It's something like that, because then she's like, it's something like that. It's one of those. It literally doesn't get mentioned until literally like somewhere quite late in either Peter's in Peter's first season, or like very early second season.
Yeah, I think it's either the finale or the premiere of like season 8, season 9.
It just takes ages for it to get addressed. It's just pretty funny.
Yeah, the Doctor's a monk. We're in Colombia, right? Colombia.
The bells of St. John are ringing.
Yes. Okay. By far the funniest part of this episode, and the funniest thing that I've watched in a while, is yes, Connor's got it right.
Yeah. That is really funny.
What does he say? It's like, is it a spirit? Is it an evil spirit?
Right,
a woman. And then just a silent monk does the cross thing. That's so funny. That's hilarious.
No temptations.
Yeah, that was cool. I think it looked cool, and I like as well. Did you know that there is a prequel to this episode? Which is really cool, and I remember enjoying it as a kid watching it, and it's so sweet. I rewatched it before watching this episode, and it's really sweet.
The swing one.
Yes, it's the Doctor still in the old tweed jacket, and he's just on a swing. Smith's acting is pretty like child acting. Like it's not great. I feel like he was just like, oh, I'll just get this one done. He's really lovely in it, but I just don't know if I fully believed all of his deliveries. But he is like talking to this kid. And it's a young Clara that he's talking to.
Yes,
weirdly, pretty sure they use a different child Clara actor in the Rings of Ahkaten, because I rewatched that the other day. And I think they
watched it. Interesting.
Yeah, well, because I know we're probably doing it tomorrow, so I figured I'll get ahead.
Right.
Yeah, so she's and they're just chatting. She's like, I've lost my mom or something. And the Doctor's like, oh, I've lost one of my friends. I'm trying to find her. And then young Clara is like, when I lose things, I like to sit I like to go into a dark room and sit and think really, really hard about where I last saw it, or last saw them, or last saw it, and then in Belle de Saint John, the Doctor has been in recluse as a monk, sitting in a dark room, and I was like,
Wow.
that's kind of a little neat thing that like doesn't get said in the episode, but ties into that prequel very
I love
subtly.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool.
Mm.
And then like he finds out it's another version of Clara because of the whole run your cowboy thing.
Yep.
He rocks up. And then yeah, basically the Doctor's like, I ain't gonna get let in unless I'm dressed like a monk. So he goes and changes. We spoke about that. Awesome scene.
Yeah, I love that little just the way
Oh,
he grabs his toy jacket and
yeah,
goes over the camera, and then he's
yeah,
doing his
that's
bow tie.
awesome.
And the score there's
Yeah,
great. It's like do 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 do
yeah,
do
some real neat direction. One thing
Yeah.
I noticed, and this is only because it was stuck in my head last week, this piece of score, and I was like, I don't know if you do this. Sometimes I hear a piece of score in my head, and I'm like, what is that from? Like, is it from the movies, from TV show? And I had it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of like the horns like that they used in Angel's Take Manhattan. It's like, wah, they like it's kind
Yeah,
of
the
like that.
dun, dun.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
used that piece again when that little girl with the spoonhead is walking down the stairs, and then Clara gets zapped. Doctor comes running in. He's like, "Oh no, you don't! I'm gonna get her back."
Yeah.
And he grabs the laptop and goes.
They
There's just a
like
load
make
of
an action
things.
sequence out of him typing. It's so
Literally,
bizarre.
the girl like get it, somehow gets her off the fucking cloud, but she has all this information in her head, and we find this out through a Twitter joke, which is pretty.
Yeah, that was good. What did you
Well,
think? We
Muffin
jumped
everything
over it
got
pretty quick.
Twitter.
What did you think of the Doctor like nutting over the phrase Doctor Who when he's a monk and he's like, say it again.
I could.
Doctor Who. Oh, I like that.
I like. I love Matt Smith. I think he's such a great Doctor. I think he's the only Doctor I can compare him to is Jodie's Doctor, where I feel like they get this dialogue that just really like rubs me out the wrong way and really pisses me off.
Yeah.
So anyone out there who thinks I just hate on Jodie's Doctor for no reason, I feel the same way about Matt Smith sometimes. Like
I don't mind it. I think
rubbing it the wrong way.
For me, I think Series 7's got a good balance of silliness, and he's got this kind of darker shade.
Yeah,
this one's definitely pushing the silly boundaries,
better.
but yeah,
it's definitely better than season 7. Yeah, I love Matt Doctor. I think he's so great. But yeah, sometimes I just feel like in this episode I got this vibe where I'm like, people, Tumblr's a huge thing. It's so cringe, Tumblr. I see posts like old posts from every week on like Facebook, all these like cringe posts about the Doctor, and like, it's like paragraph after paragraph, and it's just cringe. I send them in the grid chat all the time to how cringy they are. But I feel like Moffat really capitalized on that, and they knew what Matt Smith was, and they know it works, and they know that people love him, so they ran with it. And I got to respect that, but sometimes I find that I think I liked it. I liked it a lot more when I was younger and watching it, so it did work. But now that I'm rewatching it, I'm like, oh, I can't deal with these like cringe dialogue sometimes, and the cringe childlike goofy performance sometimes doesn't go well with me. But I still think he's a great Doctor. I love Matt Smith. He's awesome. So it's not his fault. I really do think it's just Moffat going like, we were going for a really funny scene in this one. So it's just like, let's just do it.
Nice Moffat accent.
Thank you.
Tell you what, I got this new Garmin watch, right? So nice little touch watch. Oh, lovely. And it literally just came up for the first time. I've been wearing it for about 3 days. And for the first time in 3 days, it's come up saying your stress levels are unusually high. Remember to relax. So doing this. Yeah, apparently this podcast is stressing me the fuck out.
Talking too much about Doctor Who gets you stressed out.
No, I think it's because it's I turned my fan and everything off in here, so it's quite hot. So I think that's why I'm getting so stressed. So stressed. Yeah, cool, man. So yeah, Clara's uploaded onto the cloud, which is an interesting thought.
Then he gets taken away. She gets taken back. Sorry, and this whole like evil fucking corporation, they're like trying to take people on the Wi-Fi, and it's all to do with the great intelligence, which I thought was an awesome twist. When I watched that first time, I was like, wow, I did not see that coming. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, good
That
twist.
really took me by surprise.
Well, fun fact is that was actually leaked on the BBC website. It actually said Richard E. Grant was in the episode, and then they were like, "Oh fuck, no, he's not," and then they deleted it. But then everyone like saw that, and they kind of read it as, "Oh, they've just got it confused with the snowman because he was in the episode before that." So,
Right.
Yeah.
That rings a bell. Actually, I think I remember that happening.
Mm.
So yeah, it's cool. I wonder when he filmed it. Like, I wonder like if he shot it after the snowman, or like if he was just on set and they're like, just do this scene. I don't know, but it's cool. He's only in it for like probably less than a minute, but it's a really cool cameo, and that's who's behind that corporation. Which again, I don't care about. I think it's dumb. I think the villains just kind of suck. The spoonheads, they look cool, but they're like kind of pointless.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like,
you know,
the humor, the tone, the silliness, everything on like the way that this episode is put together, I really like. It's just the plot is so just shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, sorry, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but you are right when you said that it knows what it is. Like, it's
Exactly.
not trying to be fucking, you know, you're right, the best script ever. Like, it's not trying to be the best episode ever. I think it works well for what it is. And yeah, well, the plane scene is pretty much next. And I thought that scene again was awesome. Like, they did a really good job there, and it kept me really engaged. And even like the scene afterwards where like they go to that cafe, I think it's a really nice location. Like,
yeah, once again, some more amazing
really
location
cool
work.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I think it's a really cool spot to film. It gives time for the episode to breathe. Clara and the Doctor, they like Matt and Jenna, they really do bounce off each other well. They have a little bit of time to like, like I said, breathe. Like, Doctor's like kind of quizzing Clara about like how being a nanny is quite Victorian and stuff, and he's still trying to piece it together in your head, just like you were as the audience. Like, you don't understand it really much either.
You know what I don't understand?
I think that's good.
Is
what?
So I know that was probably a bit of a gal, but I'm sure that Moffat had a lot of the 50th planned out, and like surely in filming this episode, they knew that Clara was going to be a teacher in the 50th. So all they had to do was say, like, have a single throwaway line where she's like, yeah, I'm, studying to be a teacher. And then
That's
come
true,
the 50th,
hey.
she's a teacher. Because it's just so jarring when she's suddenly a teacher in the 50th.
That's very true. Yeah, because it's really hard to become a teacher, like to get a job actually teaching in a school.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, my girlfriend has been trying real hard and finally got herself a job as a teacher. So
yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah,
proper real job. It is hard, and so it's surprising that she just kind of like shifts like that, I guess. What did you think? Well, actually, this is not what did you think? This is just how I thought it was funny. When Clara's talking down from, so backtracking a little bit, Clara's talking down from her window to the Doctor, and the Doctor's like, I've reassembled the quadricycle, and Clara's like, we don't have a quadricycle, and he's like, I've invented the quadricycle.
All right.
I've always hated that line, but I actually thought about it this time and was like, hold on a second. He's assembled the quadricycle, which is a bike with 4 wheels. So has he just found 2 bikes in the garage and combined them to be a 4-wheel, like a quad bike, but like you ride it, like that you pedal it.
I've always hated that line. I hate the delivery. It just always fucking pisses me off, and I didn't like it this time. And I literally, that line just kept playing in my head just all day. Like, ever since I fucking watched it in the episode, I was like, that line, I've never liked it. It just, it pisses me off, but it's classic. It's classic peak Matt Smith. It's just the kind of lines that he has. And either you love them or you kind of find them cringy. And I don't think I used to always dislike them and find them cringy, but now I kind of just do. But
what did you think of the whole sequence in the restaurant with everyone turning into Miss Kizzian, whatever she's called?
It was fine. I think it's we spoke about we speak about a lot about the whole dialogue and like how to
Mm.
get exposition out of the way in a fun and smart way. They could have easily just maybe gotten the news anchor to be, for example, could have just done all
You're
the
right.
lines. I think it's cool that it hopped to like 4 different people.
Mm.
I like that, but it's soon ruined by the fucking spoonhead Matt Smith. That always made me cringe. Where like, and I don't get how like 1 second you can see the back of their heads and the next second it's gone.
Yeah, that wasn't well thought out, was it?
No, it's really not, and it happens again in the scene where he goes to in the office and he flies up the fucking building. It happens again. I mean, that I did forget it was the spoonhead version of Matt Smith, but he's going around London and like he's wearing a helmet and stuff. Like you can see the back of his head. Like it's not. I don't know if the back of the head like goes into itself and then it turns around as a spoon, but they never showed that.
No, they don't.
So, so they don't show it. So I'm instantly assuming the whole fucking head is a spoon shape. So you know,
I think that's a really good point you made about how they delivered the exposition in that restaurant scene. Because I think not only was it an interesting way of giving exposition, but it kept the scene really lively rather than just having, like you said, one person talking and it's just like a static conversation, maybe a little bit of pacing or something. This scene made the blocking more complex, and so the camera work became more complex, and so the scene had so much more energy than it would have had by having him bounce around, having to talk to like 4 different people. Which, that was right. That was a good catch, Connor. Nice.
Yeah, I think again we keep saying it doesn't feel like a lazy episode at all, which I really respect with the location work and the direction and stuff, and even a lot of the script. It's not trying to be like a just a run by the mill straight line kind of story. It definitely tries its best to be different. I think this is an episode that really tried to be quite modern. Yeah, and like this is our new era. We're modern, we're hip, we're now. I think it. Looking back now, it is kind of cringy, the whole Wi-Fi thing. But again, you got to put yourself back to that time, and it was a thing that was really apparent.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, I think the more I talk about the episode, the more I think I like it. I don't dislike it. It's just never really like stuck out to me very, very much. But it's got some fun stuff in it. I do like the Doctor going around London, like chasing to the building on his bike and getting stopped on the way by another pedestrian, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, and we kind of spoke about it before, like when the TARDIS materialized on embankment and he brought the motorbike out.
That was fantastic.
That was cool. And he's got his hat and he's getting the money into the fez. That was all cool.
That's a really fun little scene. And it's like, and it's really like that scenes like that go like, oh, this is why Doctor Who is so loved and in great shows, because like it has things like that where it's like, oh, that's really magical. Like I'm sure like it's I respect the fact the episode took like a minute just to do a little fun scene like that, which really worked, and with the location it worked even better and it felt fresh and new. It was like something that hadn't really been done in a while, so I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you like the anti-grav bike?
It's pretty shit, but it's like really funny, like, and I don't care. Like, and it looks pretty bad. The VFX when we have that shot going up the building looks pretty bad. I also noticed, it's a small thing, but the eye line of the pedestrian guy that he talks to that gets hacked by Miss Kislet, when he's like, did you not hear me say anti-grav, which was a great meme for a while, I remember. And he smacks the button and he like speeds off, which looks cool. But then as soon as he speeds off, the pedestrian's eyes like start looking up the building so high. And I'm like, if he's doing that, like he literally must be going like 1,000 kilometers an hour up the side of the building, just following how fast his eye line tracks. And then when you cut to it, it's actually a bit lower than where his eyes were kind of looking. Small thing, small goof, maybe.
Small goofy.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Do you like the anti-grav Olympics? You've been there before?
Oh, many times. It's funny. That's a line I do like. And he's like, I came last, but I still rode this bad boy there. I like that. That was funny. That was a cool line. Like you said, the whole going up the building thing. I thought I would hate it so much more watching it now. I kind of loved it.
It's so silly, dude. I love how silly it is.
And I love how he knows what what window to go through.
I know.
And it's the classic, like you just hear a smash, and you don't see how he comes in, and then like suddenly like somehow he's going up the building like this. Must have seen the window,
Yeah.
and then gone boom,
And
and
flip into the
somehow
window.
flipped in. And then like when everyone walks in, he's just like sat on the desk,
and there's a wheel spinning.
And there's a wheel spinning. He's just like, "Hello, I'm here. I made it." It's just like fucking. But I kind of loved it. Like I can't deny it. Like I thought it was shit, but I really liked it. Like it's just funny. You know, I can't deny that. It's just funny.
Cool, man. I'm glad. It's funny. And then we kind of get like the bullshit hacking shit to solve the problem. Yeah, I don't even remember how it resolves properly. But
it's Matt Smith is actually a spoonhead again. I know, shocking. And it's like, I'm back in the cafe enjoying my coffee.
Yeah.
And he just cuts to Matt Smith having a fucking
a classic Moffat twist, isn't it?
And he's like, let's fucking go and
let's get the dogs. Yeah, and it was a bit convenient that the only way to download Clara back from the Wi-Fi was to download all of them. And like, I know it saved the day, but surely from the start, the doctor should have been like, you're going to download everyone.
Yeah, you know? Get Clara out and everybody else.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it's like she's already downloaded fucking twice, can't get her off again. The only way to do it would be to get everyone off the server. And yeah, so that's the way to do it, because you like traps Miss Kisler in there, and she's like, now let me out, you fools. And then it happens and comes out. Oh, we get a brief appearance from Unit.
Yeah, they don't even look like Unit, do they? They're just like black soldiers. You get no inkling that it's Unit.
Literally, it's just like they just say, if they didn't say they were Unit, I just assume they're like some fucking army boys,
military or something. Yeah,
it's Unit. Yeah, they'd all been like under the grey intelligence, all been like fucking hypnotized. I have one bloke's like, I came in here to fix the gents. How long have I been here for?
Yeah, that's funny. But also like spooky, like it's actually chilling. It sent like shivers down my spine by Miss Kids that was like, where's my mommy and daddy? I was like, that's just heartbreaking. Like she's been under the great intelligence for that long.
Yeah, well, I kind of like that because it goes back to Snowman, where also
Richard E. Grant.
Yeah, he like obviously got, when he was a child, got the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So so it just hit me now. I'm like, that just hit me now. Like this is like the same villain for like 2 episodes in a row.
Yeah, great intelligence.
Yeah, because it feels like it's so long since we watched it last.
Yeah,
and it would have been a break between Christmas and Easter as well. But yeah, it's kind of hard to remember. But yeah, it's the same villain. Yeah,
and they kind of camouflage it because in the Snowman you have the Snowman, and in this one you have the Spoonheads and Miss Kisler, and that all kind of make it not seem like they're just copying and pasting the plot and things like that.
Does the doctor he doesn't see that it's the Great Intelligence, or
no, he doesn't know.
Okay, yeah, and also he rocks up again for the third and final time in the Doctor. Yeah.
Ooh, banging.
I like the ending though. I feel like it's really sweet.
Yeah, like she's Clara like, come back and ask again tomorrow.
So is that how Rings of Ahkaten starts?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I'm back now. It's the same day for me.
Yeah.
Same 5 minutes for me. I just traveled to
7 it's PM so dumb.
The next day.
Do you know what I always remember being baffled by in this episode is I always thought it was such a big thing that in Clara's book, there's a few missing ages in there. Like it goes from like 13 to 15 and skips 14 or something like that. You know how she writes down all her ages. I always thought that was going to come back somehow. Never does. She just forgot to write in it some years.
Yeah, that whole book thing's, it's fine. It just doesn't really, it never really gets addressed again.
It gets, the book itself gets like hounded home next week though, in Rings of Ahkaten. Like it's spoken about quite a bit. Yeah,
because that's where the whole leaf comes from, isn't it? Maybe I'm forgetting.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's a great line though. I like the end where it's like, what was the leaf? And it's like, it wasn't a leaf. That was page 1. And then it's like got the acoustic strumming of name of the doctor. I am the doctor. Dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun, dun.
because that's how our parents met. It's like page 1.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of cool. Murray was on fire. I know we spoke about it a bit already, but like all these scores, we got like the proper introduction of Clara's theme. I think that's like one of my favorite character themes. I really like that for the companions. That's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
it's cute.
And then also like when they're riding the motorbike, that whole da 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 dun da 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 dun dun da dun da 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 dun 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 da dun da 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 dun dun da dun bam 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 da 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 bam 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 bam. Bum, ba, ba, bum, ba, 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 ba. This is going uncomfortably long now. I'm sorry. Yeah, just good shit, man. Good
It's
shit, Murray.
classic. Aidan sings the score.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I want someone one day to do an edit of an episode and take out all of Murray's score and bring in just all the score themes that I've done in my voice. I think that's great. I'll happily give you some fresh score with my mouth.
I love it.
For that. That's a fan project. Let's do it. Make it happen. Yeah, cool. No, that was Basil St. John. You.
I always like speaking briefly about next episode.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought Rings of Ahkaten was pretty dog shit, so I'm pretty interested to see if I like. I mean, obviously it's got the speech, but I always just didn't like it. So
same as me. I used to think that a lot as well. So interested to talk about it this time.
Yeah.
That'll be next week's episode. Okay, so goof of the week. We're only gonna keep it so it's just if me and Conor find goofs now, rather than going to Tardis Wiki and talking about bloody Amy Pond's fingernails, having them paint scratched off them and shit like that. Like no one cares, and that's not the point of the show. It's just when we find funny things like a camera in shot, we want to talk about them goofs because that kind of thing is funny, but we want to make them goofs that we find ourselves and not just be relying on Tardis Wiki to tell them. I don't have any goofs for this week, but Conor has a couple. So shall we move into Australia's favorite segment, Conor?
Let's do it.
It's time for Goof of the Week. All
right.
Hit me, Conor. Hit me with your goofs.
Outside Clara's house when they're outside the TARDIS and they're just after Clara's woken up and they're like trying to figure out like all the Wi-Fi and the spoon heads and all that shit and all the lights are turning on around London and stuff and London turns off and then all the lights in the neighborhood turn on. In one shot, it shows a light turn on in a house and you can see it's raining.
Rain, yes, I did notice that. Yeah.
1.
Ding.
2. I don't know if this is a massive one, and like I said, the clip of them in the airplane got released online, so I saw everyone talking about this when it first got released. But I don't know if like Clara's finished her cup of tea or coffee.
No, that is something.
But she's like fucking running around, like going like this. I don't know if she's just like, I don't know if the gag is that she's like holding it after she's drunk it and then just running around with it in her hand, like.
Because
I don't know.
No, I noticed this as well actually. Because she's going around like crazy. It's fucking upside down and shit. And then she drinks it afterwards.
Yeah, I thought I saw it because she does that and then she puts it down on the console.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, I thought I noticed that. Okay. Yeah, nice shit. One. Yeah, that sucks. Okay, that sucks.
I don't mind. It's kind of funny.
Last one. Oh yeah.
It would be funny if it was full of tea and you're just watching it spill everywhere during that scene.
I think that could have been a funny gag, just like a little bit of like, whoa.
Yeah.
Last one I saw was and this is the thing that happens all the time on the show. TARDIS doors are open and there's just like a it's just dark inside. There's they haven't edited in like the interior. It happens all the time, but I noticed it again. So it happens. I even noticed it happened in the Fox this time. So it's still happening now. So
I don't mind. I think that's like part of like it's always been like that with Doctor Who. So I don't hate it. One thing that is cool with the Series 7 Part 2 TARDIS interior is that now when they build the TARDIS prop, they put them like that first part of the interior walls inside of the TARDIS, because it's got that mild corridor before it walks in. Do you know what I mean? That like silver, bluey kind of metal they put on the sides of the interior of just the box. So like when the motorbike came out, you do see and you get a little bit more of the illusion of the inside of the TARDIS being moving, which is cool.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's great. I love
awesome,
that
man. Well, there's not a huge amount to talk about, but shall we do Australia's second favorite segment?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, baby. It's time for Behind the Scenes. All right. So behind the scenes, as it says on the tin, is when we talk about behind the scenes. Sometimes there's juicy gossip. Sometimes there's not. It's nice to do these segments again because we weren't doing these for the new episodes because there wasn't enough information out about them. So behind the scenes, just a couple, literally two things I wanted to point out from scouring the internet briefly. This episode is in fact the only time the Doctor can be seen using the control panels on the edge of the TARDIS. So you know how in this TARDIS it's got the main console and then it's got the bits off to the side.
Yeah.
This is the only time he uses the ones on the edge in all
I
of the.
didn't even notice him doing that.
Yeah, crazy. I do remember in the 5-ish Doctors, that's the 50th celebration that the classic Doctors did. I remember, I think it's either Sylvester or Colin. They go up to one of those panels and they go, "Oh, this is a much more sturdy than it used to be." I remember that, but they don't actually press any buttons on the panels. So
yeah, I love it. That's such a great little thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rewatch that before we get to Name the Doctor.
Yeah.
Sorry, Know the Doctor, because that's such a great little thing.
Sorry, I just remembered a goof for next week's episode, so I'm just writing it in.
Okay.
Cool, man. All right. So the other thing that I just wanted to touch on briefly, and it's pretty obvious, but all this location stuff we keep talking about, the shooting of the motorbike stuff. There's a really great 5-minute behind the scenes clip on the Blu-ray that I watched. That just shows them filming it and having fun with it. Obviously it's a mixture of stunt doubles for the wide shots when it's zooming quite fast, and then it's got close-ups where the bike is attached to a rig and they've got the camera on a rig that's being controlled by a operator on a car in front of them that's towing the bike along the bridge. Basic stuff. It's just really cool that footage exists and that we're allowed to see that stuff. And I really wish we still got. Oh, we did actually. Fox actually gave us a lot more behind the scenes stuff than we have done in recent years.
That's true.
It is always cool just to see cameras and just seeing, even if it is obvious, how they did this rig, like any other sort of car shoot rig. It's still just so awesome to watch that kind of thing. Seeing them have a police escort through the city whilst they've got a rig. That's the kind of stuff that I think inspires young people into filmmaking a little bit. It's just seeing people just doing their jobs with the craft. And when they get to have, I bet that was a big day out. I bet there was a lot of OHS, a lot of work and planning that went into doing that. Obviously, filming on Westminster Bridge. So
yeah, a lot. Yeah, definitely.
I just think those are the days that I look forward to. When I shoot, not that I've shot on Westminster Bridge, but the days where you just are doing something so big and exciting and different, and something that makes your episode or your movie or your short film unique. When you do those shoots, we shot a band scene, and that was the funnest day ever. Just having so much fun just making that, because it's not something that you get to every day. And so it's really cool getting to see people really enjoy doing that with that bridge sequence. Lots of fun, I think. Yeah, that's really it for behind the scenes. There wasn't much more information beyond that. So what I want to do is move on to our third and final segment of the day, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
Conor, what's the name of it?
It is just Twitter.
Woo! Let's bring in the clowns, y'all. All right, so we've got a few this week. So that is lovely. This is where we want to hear from you guys. We want to know what you guys think. So you can talk to us on Twitter and Instagram at 50Doctor. In those places, we have a link tree in the description below where you can reach us on all those places. So you can do that if you like, if you want to be involved, if you want to chat, if you want to chat shit and get hit. Okay, so yeah, over on Twitter, which I handle, Connor handles the Instagram. We have Vinny saying the episode is bloody great. Matt's run on Doctor Who always drags a little for me, but this episode marks the point where I fell head over heels for the show again. Celia Amri is an icon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right, and it's great that she's in an episode. It's exciting and fun, but has that domestic feel at the same time. Love it in capital letters. Yeah. Also, I wanted to say, Celia Amri is actually a really good, strong villain in this episode. By the way, I felt she was pretty powerful and isn't the most developed, but it's like developed enough for it to work for the episode.
Yes, I totally agree.
Dylan then says, this episode is the most CBBC Doctor Who ever got. It's not good. I'm sorry, Aidan, but it's not. Hey, Dylan, just because it's CBBC doesn't mean it's not good. I'm kidding. He then goes on to explain himself further. Clara was such a great addition to the cast in The Snowman, and here she's just a bit bland. This episode does have one of the best scenes in all of New Who, which is when we transition from the Tardis to the airplane. Matt is fine, but at this point, I've already kind of had enough of him. Oh, and what was that shit about the Wi-Fi? Boring stuff, honestly. 4 out of 10. Actually, 4 out of 10 is a bit harsh. I'll give it a 5. And I gave him a sad face back. I feel like maybe Dylan was not having a good day when he wrote that. Bless you. Thank you for sending that in, Dylan. Always appreciate your reviews. And then the That's What I Call Comedy podcast then said the episode wouldn't exist if Clara just used NordVPN. And then Connor said, NordVPN, please sponsor us.
I actually use NordVPN like every day, so I did
if you want to use what's it? NordVPN.
Nord, yeah.
Then do that. And maybe they'll sponsor us one day. Connor, do you have any reviews over on the Instagram?
They didn't reply to me about sponsoring, but that's okay.
Dogs. Someone was like, we're not the biggest podcast in Australia. Jeez.
I know. What a total, we missed out. All right, Jacob, say it. Bells St. John. When this episode aired, I hated it. When I watched the second time, I hated it. When I watched it a third time, I loved it. This episode is fast-paced and fun. The spoonhead people look cool, and the Doctor riding up the side of the building is stupid, but I love it. The episode ending is extremely dark, with the villain asking for her parents, and she is reset back to when the Grange Lady was first connected to her as a child. Like what happened to her after this episode, she got home the mind of a child and a middle-aged body. Also, Clara's great and doesn't deserve any of the hate she gets as a companion. 7 out of 10. Question of the week: thoughts on trains? I'm currently on a train as of writing and couldn't think of a question. I fucking hate the trains. I don't know if I said this on my other podcast this week. I think I might have. I fucking hate the trains. I had to catch a train on Friday, and it sucked. And I'm sorry. Oh god, excuse me. I'm trying to get the fucking. I can't hear it, but yeah. Hello. I don't like the trains. I don't like them at all. They're dodgy. They're full of scary people, and I hate it. So
I'm mixed on trains, man. I think it depends where you are, because I think Perth's train system, that's Transperth. Shout out to Transperth for being pretty shit. Well, sometimes you have to wait like 20 minutes for a train, and yeah, they're always can be quite dirty, and I just think they're always really boring train rides. Whereas like on tube in the UK, probably because I'm on holiday and I'm not used to it, so it probably gets a little bit like, I've seen it in the movies, so it's cool to do it. I love riding the tube, man. I think the tube stations all look, except like the fancy ones, like Westminster looks pretty boring, so it's just fucking metal and silver everywhere. I think it's Westminster from memory, but like Baker Street Station, all the older ones. I think I was using Kensington or something because that's around where I was. Like I love the old school vibe, like those tiles and like old bright colors are so convenient. There's a train, like 3 minutes is a long time to wait for a train in on the tube. I found like there's always one like every minute. And also like in other countries, I hate trains on the I hated the subway in New York. That was fucking filthy. That shit was dirty as. Only rode it once and was like, that's enough for me. But like, I don't know. And then like in Italy and France, I didn't really like it. They were a bit congested, and France had double-decker trains, which was interesting. Wow. But Yeah, and the doors, like, it was so packed that the doors literally just closed. And this was okay. Mild story time here. Big learning curve for Aidan as a male. When it's packed, let all the girls go on in front of you. We were on a big trip with like a big group of all of us in France waiting for a train. Train comes, it literally is like packed, and we're all shuffling in. And for some reason, all of the blokes, we all just jumped on the train first. And then I had one of the girls was like holding my shirt from behind so we didn't get separated. And then the door literally closed, and all of the girls were left on the platform. And all of us guys instantly were like, "Fuck's sake! Like, why did we do that? Why, like, we just like abandoned them in the middle of like a dodgy metro station
because you got on first and they went to leave,
and
they
they were
leave.
coming, but they were behind us. But because it was so packed, the doors literally just closed on people.
No.
It's literally like 2012, that scene when they're all trying to like get onto the ships, and then some of them are falling through the gaps and getting grinded in the gears and shit. It was literally like that. So we made a rule from then on that the girls would go on first, and we'd like mix up and make sure that there's like an even distribution, so we're not leaving a bunch of sort of young girls alone. I know they're more than capable of handling themselves, but it's just I guess a moral thing,
being respectful,
Yeah. And that's something that I abide by to this very day. So that's a little thank you. I am the best male in existence. Thank you, Connor. Thank you so much.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's a big roundabout trains. I basically the only place that has good trains is London. Also just like catching trains
train station.
Like when I was at like Euston train station in London, that's like the big train that takes me up to like to see my family that are quite north in Kendal and in Manchester and all that kind of thing. I like catching those trains. I don't know why. I just love hearing English voices on the train.
Like a train like that's fine, but like a one that like runs from like suburbs like the city is just like full of rats, like ratty people and probably real rats.
Yeah, those trains are cool because you usually have a seat booked, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you book your seat. It's like people have actually paid some good money to be there, like a couple maybe 30, 40, 50 pounds or something. So like, I don't know, like I dislike them. All right, I
don't like trains. You're not like the ASDF movie character. Do you remember that shit?
Well, I like trains.
I like trains.
I never got that. I never fucking understood why that was so funny. Everyone used to love that.
I like turtles. There's another one.
Is that another one?
Yeah, there's a few of those, I think. Yeah. All right. Enough of that. Connor, Bells of St. John. That was all your reviews, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to rate the episode then? Out of 10?
7.
7? Ah, not bad.
I didn't even form a rating. I literally just finished it like fucking an hour ago, so I didn't even think of a rating. I promise I'll be more prepared when we film next. But yeah, I'd say a 7. Yeah, 7 will do.
Cool. I think that's fair. I think we pretty much summed it up in terms of like saying, the episode is what it says on the tin, doesn't try to be anything big. So for that, it's never going to be like an 8 or a 9 or anything. But for me, I just think it's so fun. I just really enjoy it. It's my biggest comfort episode of Doctor Who. So for me, it's a 7.5. Probably should deserve maybe more of a 7, but just the fact it's my go-to if I'm having a bad, gloomy day. It's not great, but I think it's just fun, man. And those are the best Doctor Who episodes to me. Fun.
It does its job,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that's what must be done.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Thank you.
I'm still wondering about that CBBC analogy because I'm not good with kids shows. I always find them really boring, but I really like this. I don't know what's different about it.
Do you know what turned out to be false?
What?
There was no connection to class in the Vanquishers. I just remembered that.
Oh yeah, there's all these rumors about class being involved in Vanquishers. Not a chance, mate. That was never going to happen.
Remember the catch up?
I can't wait to review Class one day.
Yeah, get ready for that. I hear that Russell's started production.
Yes, I think about a week ago. I think this week just gone. They had their first week of proper prep work, proper pre-production. So that's
pretty sick.
That's awesome,
really
man.
Excited. I heard. I don't know if it's in this, but Moffat did an Oxford interview, and I'm like 10 minutes in. I'll probably watch a bit more today.
Yeah,
I think they asked him in there. about it, and I read a quote from him saying like, I've heard some of the stuff he's doing, and it's fucking awesome. So I can't wait.
Those exact words from them off. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, literally those exact words.
Also,
it's fucking awesome.
People are so silly, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're all these silly people are right. All right, but Russell T Davies posted a photo on his Instagram of him with a poster behind him of himself with a Christmas hat on, and he captioned it "Christmas," like Christmas, but with a 2 instead of a T. Everyone's like, RTD2 announcement coming at Christmas. We might, but if we do get an RTD announcement around Christmas, it's got nothing to do with this post. This post is literally making fun of the fact that there is 2 RTDs in the photo, and it's got a Christmas hat of it. That's all it is, y'all. I get it. We're all desperate for some more RTD news, but you're just looking into it too much, Chief. Is it too much?
I saw people reading into it. From what I heard, people saw that as Russell hinting at the idea of there being Christmas specials again.
Yes, which there's definitely a big chance there might be, but once again, that's not what this post is about.
The fucking picture. I can't stand people who are like that when they try and everything's like all decrypted and stuff. It's like, no, fucking shut up.
Yeah, man. I think we will be due a 14th Doctor announcement in the next few weeks, perhaps.
Maybe. I mean, I think it would make sense to say, maybe not this year, but maybe like early next year.
Yeah, well, I think they're shooting.
Cool.
I think they're shooting mid-year. They're starting to shoot. I don't know where I heard that, but I feel like I read that somewhere.
For the 60th.
Yeah, for Russell's takeover. So they'll obviously have to do an announcement before then, and usually it's like quite a bit before they start shooting. We find out. So I'd say between now and like maybe February, we'll be getting an announcement. But I reckon it will be sooner rather than later.
And confirmed for the episode, returning
David Tennant.
Yeah, Matt Smith, David Tennant.
Oh man,
hey, why not?
But it sounds like it's going to be like a 60th anniversary series rather than just a special. So that's interesting to me. I like that.
Bro, get the fuck out of here. That just sounds awesome.
I actually just creamed my crackers.
Literally, it's just fucking crazy. I feel like I'm in a dream. It doesn't seem real. It genuinely doesn't. No. There'll never be words to explain how I feel about him coming back. It's just, I feel like I'm still I found out at the pub. I feel like I'm still there. I'm on the floor. I'm knocked out.
I've been fucked for the past like 3 months.
Literally, it didn't happen. But yeah, it's awesome. It's just so cool. So, but I'm also really excited for the last 3 Jodie episodes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Well. Yeah, this next one does look really cool.
I think it looks sick, and it's really cool. We get it in a couple of weeks. I think it looks really. Yeah, I agree. I think it looks really cool. Yeah. So you know,
there is one thing that I feel. So obviously, every Chibnall era we've had an episode on New Year's Day. So if there wasn't, because it's been like what 4 years of the Chibnall era, we've had 3 New Year specials, including the Eve of Christmas, which is. Obviously, I like that they're a trilogy of Dalek stories as well. I like that, how that all kind of connects. But then the one time we didn't have a Christmas special, the series itself started on Christmas Day. So this one looks like they've gone a little bit more festive with it, which is cool. I like that. There's a few more like Christmas props around, because last season, I think it was just like they just said, "Oh, Happy New Year, Yaz," and that was the only reference to New Year. And before that, it was just like the Doctor had a colorful scarf, and they watched some fireworks at one point.
Dan messaged in our group chat today, like, surely it's like Christmas themed, and I was like, bro, I think like the Christmas tree in the background of the trailer is just literally like everyone on Christmas Eve, on New Year's Eve, your tree's still up, like
yeah, that's what it is, But like, what I was going to say is that perhaps that means that no, this won't happen, but this will be the first time we don't get a festive special though this next year, because there won't be a Christmas special and there won't, well, as far as we know, there's no Christmas special, and there won't be a New Year's special in 2023. So
no special at all.
We'll have the centenary special in October, and then we've got to wait till the 60th series, I believe. So there's no the first time there's no special, and there's a chance that could then be it. We might never get them again. It depends if Russell wants to do it.
Yeah, So we have to literally fall on like wait a whole year pretty much.
Yeah.
For an episode. That's much. What the hell are we gonna do for a year? What
Rewatch the rewatch show. You know, it was so funny. A big podcast.
Thoughts.
Huh?
Updated thoughts on. Yeah.
No, we'll review our reviews.
Yeah. I changed my opinion on this.
There's so a big podcast I really like is the Scrubs rewatch show. And they have a guest on every week that's like a fan, just for like 20 minutes. They just have a chat with them and they ask questions and stuff like that.
You should sign up to go on it.
I actually thought about it a lot. But there's these two fans that came on. They were so funny. And they basically, the reason, so to go on, you have to like email in, have like a good subject line that's interesting, you know, something unique about you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And usually if you email in a few times, eventually you'll get brought on because you get Joel, the producer's attention. And these guys came on and they basically said, hey, yeah, so for the past like 6 months, we've been trying to get on. And for the past 6 months, we've been doing a rewatch show of your rewatch show. And we've been reviewing your rewatch, your podcast episodes and just having a laugh. And they've gone on and got the guests that have been on the episode of Fake Doctors Real Friends, the podcast itself, and brought those guests onto their show to talk about like the experience of it. And like, it's just so funny. Someone should do that for us.
Yeah, do it. I also think you should sign up to go on Fake Doctors Real Friends. I reckon you'd like that.
I would love that a lot.
You should do that. You should do that.
Them boys.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Cool, guys. Let's call it there. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 50Doctor. On YouTube, we are the 50% Doctor Who podcast. You get to see the footage of these videos there. Or you can just listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, wherever you want to get your bloody podcasts out. We'll be there for you, my friends.
Love it.
Yeah. Cool stuff, man. Christmas is almost here, so good shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, you know.
Yeah, halfway out the dark.
Oh, what a time!
All right,
episode.
Shall we sing our lovely little song?
Okay. All right. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. All right, you ready?
Let's go.
All right. And a 1 and a 2 and a skilly diddly do.
It's Aidan's and Conor's podcast. They're doing Doctor Who review. Doctor Who review. See you in a week for the Rings of Ahkaten
on YouTube
and Spotify.
Check out our Linktree to just see wherever it is. It'll be all there.
Everywhere. All the time.
Yeah.
Time and space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah.
Let's cut.
Yeah. Yeah.